I speedrun Slime Rancher back in the day, and then I speedrun like some very other like small stuff. I don't even remember what it was, but I know I did. I'd always been interested in speedrunning. Yeah, they did Tim Nance the first time around, and then they did it again, and I was there for the second time, yeah.
Oh, crap, I didn't know about that. Have you ever held a world record?
At the end of the day, world record is the ultimate goal for me, at least. So this run, that was the most nervous I had probably ever been in speedrunning, and it was just because the pace was so fast. It was like shocking me at how fast it was. Type IJ, and those two letters give you respawn anchor, bed, wool, and glowstone. Those 4 items. I think that if you have bad day, just being completely out is kind of messed up.
So you won 17 grand all in all, give or take.
Yes.
That's nearly a year's wages.
Out of every Twitch Rivals I've ever won, everything that I've ever done, I never got anything like this, but I got a medal, an actual medal. I saw it on my stream before, but like it says Twitch Rivals Champion on it, and it's sick. It's really sick. Yeah, it jiggles for rain.
Alright lads, welcome back to InsideMC, the part of the podcast where I sit down with a very special guest every single week. And this week, I am joined by someone who I feel, personally, should be put in more GOAT debates. I am not really one myself for doing GOAT debates. However, they're just a name that doesn't really get brought up when talking about speedrunning. Oh, they do, but like, in general conversation. Anyways, I am joined with the one, the only, Silverrruns.
What's up? Hello.
How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
No worries. We're definitely doing something different today. You're recording your own audio, and I'm recording my own audio. This is definitely something different for the podcast. This is a making history here today. Silverrruns, you are so.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Well, hopefully it's good.
I think it'll be fine because like my audio recording it is good, and then obviously you're recording your own. We're not. I'm not gonna pretend that we haven't just like recorded a little bit. Obviously, it was different to what I'm saying now, but we have talked a little bit. However. Obviously, since no one is going to hear what happened. Do you have any news? How's your day today? Anything? Because it's a Monday, so anything interesting happened?
Monday. No, not much going on today. I mean, I obviously had this podcast. In general, I have like some finals coming up, some school coming up, and I also just have like tournaments and events that I'm in. That's kind of like what's going on in my life, I guess, right now.
What do you study in? Cool.
I am a computer science major, yeah.
Oh. Fun? No? Maybe?
So for like computer science, it's kind of just a major that I am in because I felt like I should be in it. I'm not really particularly passionate about it. Like after high school, I was kind of just done. I was like, oh, okay, what do I do now? I guess I'll just go to college. It's like what my parents want. And so I wish kind of I was into something. I was like in some major that I was more passionate in, I suppose, but it's fine. It's like overall, I still like computer science. I think coding is cool. So.
Speedrunning major.
Yeah, I wish.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
Oh, you're the same age I am.
Yes.
Doing a lot better with content creation than I am though. Regarding all like the tournaments and stuff you've been in. I mean, something we'll get into talking about. But I in the one just before this, the one before you ran it back, is something you mentioned was that you've got like a bunch of tournaments coming up.
Right. Yes. I do.
You had to make, what was it, a calendar, or was it just write it down in notes?
Wait, what's that, sorry?
To track the tournaments, did you have to write down in notes or a calendar, or I can't remember what you said, sorry.
Yeah. So, because like normally I just kind of have my like tournaments that I'm doing in my brain, but instead I have like a bunch of tournaments coming up, so I have to like write them all out in my calendar, and it's like I actually have them like all set, like okay, this one's on this day, this one's on this day. Normally I don't even need to do that, but I have a lot coming up right now, so yeah.
Are they all speedrunning ones, or do you have like general like tournaments as well, or like general in quotation mark?
Yeah, it's mostly speedrunning, but there are like some other ones scattered in there which I'm excited for. Mostly speedrunning though.
It's going to be fun to watch because I mean, I'm a big lurker. I know I don't really talk too much, but when you play in tournaments and stuff like that, I do enjoy watching. I know once again, something we'll get into a bit later on in the podcast is when you was playing Escape from Lavender Island. I think that's when I got into your content and actually became like, it was not to say I didn't know who you were, like not Omega Lol, who are you, but a sense of like I knew the name, but I never watched your content. And for some reason, I just got really into your Escape from Lavender Island speedruns, and now you're on the podcast today.
Yeah, that's dope. Escape from Lavender Island was really it was such a unique experience. I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed like people that I met, and it was a nice kind of stir for me, like where am I at? Can I do things like this? And at the end of the day, like I had a sort of disappointing performance or finish or however you want to say it, but also I'm not like too worried about it. If you kind of think about it, it's like my second, maybe debatably like third or fourth speed game ever. And when I'm comparing myself to just like these insane players that just have done speedrunning for so long and all this stuff, it's like I guess I can't really beat myself up too much, but it was still a really just like good experience, fun to play, and yeah, overall I just enjoyed it.
Yeah, there's like a few ways to look at it as well. Like, firstly, you're young, you're 20, so you've still got like a lot of like time to improve. And secondly, you're more a Minecraft speedrunner. Like, these people who are speedrunning this game are like speedrun games like Star Wars and Call of Duty and stuff. That's not what you do. And when I say that, I mean like campaign for Call of Duty is very, very long. So these are people who are constantly finding shortcuts in campaigns. Whereas Minecraft, yeah, there's shortcuts, but it's not really, I don't know, it's partially comparable, if that makes sense.
Right. How I like to like see it sort of is the difference between Minecraft and other speed games is this is something that I feel like I've thought about a bit and talked about with other people. Minecraft's just speedrunning specifically is all about decision making. It's like a strategy game almost. It's barely a regular speed game where it's like, oh, I'm going to do every single action as fast as possible. Obviously that's part of it, but at the end of the day, like if you have the game sense, if you have the decision making, you're just gonna be insane like that. Just hands down.
The link to that as well is, for instance, with Escape from Lavender Island, have you speedrun anything other than Minecraft before this?
Technically yes, but not for more than not for long at all, not with the same commitment. I speedrun Slime Rancher back in the day, and then I speedrun like some very other like small stuff. I don't even remember what it was, but I know I did. I'd always been interested in speedrunning, but yeah, Minecraft was another thing that just like I really got into and started doing a lot.
Because that's what I mean. I figured out what I wanted to say was it's a whole different ballgame in the sense of Escape from Lavender Island. You have to remember the shortcuts. With Minecraft, yes, it's game sense, but because it's a different mode every time, you don't unless you're playing a set seed, you don't have to remember you take this route, you take this route. With Escape from Lavender Island, the only way you get faster is by executing what has to be done perfect. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Obviously, I know that's what I mean by it's a different ball game. It's in like still same idea of game sense, a different idea of you have to kind of remember with like story mode, in quotation marks, story mode games like this one.
Yeah, for sure. That's a big difference between the two. So, yeah, it was like a big jump, I guess, for me in terms of that. But I enjoyed it.
With that being said, then I'm a kind of this is kind of the intro. I always like to give the intro anyways for the guests to kind of promote who they are, what they do. I mean, we've kind of given a hint at it with my questions here. However, like from you directly, who are you? What do you do? You know, like any maybe a fun fact. Who knows if you haven't?
Fun fact. Yeah, I'm just a speedrunner from Canada. I have been speedrunning for like 3 years now, and I basically only speedrun Minecraft. And that's kind of been my main focus in my life really for the past 3 years. Fun fact, I'm not really sure if I have any fun facts, but I'm definitely I like the aspect of speedrunning for not just Minecraft, but just like stuff in general. So I've been like cubing sometimes. I like to get into cubing. It's like speed cubing, and just if there's like anything to do with speedrunning, I enjoy it.
Wait, just to double check, cubing is Rubik's Cube, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, just to make sure. Yeah, you give me Rubik's Cube vibes, and that's not an insult, by the way. I want you to take that in a positive sense, because I know someone who's very good at that, and I just find it interesting to watch. So it's a compliment. But yeah, you give me the like vibes of if you're not streaming and you don't have anything to do on your board, you just like whip out a Rubik's Cube.
Right. Yeah. I'm definitely not insane at it, and I haven't spent that much time at it, but it's still just fun in general.
Yeah, that's right. Fair enough. Well, Silverrruns, thank you for introducing yourself. Oh my brain is just out of it today. I'm so sorry. This is still going to be a great. It's always these kind of podcasts which are the ones that go the best. It's the ones where like I keep tripping over my words. There we go. Anyways. I've said your name a few times, and obviously, we know you're a speedrunner. You said you've been doing it since you were 17, correct? It's the last 3 years, would that be 17?
Yeah.
I feel like it's partially obvious, but I'm going to ask the question anyways. Where does the name Silverrruns come from? And on YouTube, you actually have... you have the Silverrruns app, but your name on YouTube is Silver, not Silverrruns. So where does that come from?
Okay, yeah. So originally, my old name was Silver Skyclops. That was my first name ever. That name was... it's very like specific, but my friend had a... one of my close IRL friends had an Xbox username, and his name was Golden Flybreaker. And if you kind of like link the words and the golden, silver, fly, sky. So I kind of stole his name, I guess, and I thought like Sky and Cyclops were like similar, so I thought I would just combine them. I rocked with that name for like a long time, like for the first majority of like my gaming life. And then eventually I was like, this name kind of sucks. I'm gonna switch to Silver. And Silver was obviously taken on everything, and then I added an R, and I thought the extra R kind of looked cool. And then since Silver with 2 R's was still taking on everything, I just added a runs at the end, and that's basically taken on nothing. So
and Silverrruns was inspired by the runs part was inspired by speedrunning, yeah.
Yeah, because originally my name was L Silver, and the L was just a random letter I thought of. I just put it before my name, and then I thought about it for a while, and I had to like switch my Twitch channel, so I swapped to a new Twitch channel, and at that point I made a new Twitch name, and that was like, okay, I've already been speedrunning for like 8 months or something at that point, and so it just kind of makes sense, I guess, to add a runs at the end of my name. I don't particularly like it, if I'm being honest. Like on YouTube, it's nice that I can kind of just rock with Silver, but yeah, it's how it is.
I'm in that exact same boat. I did a stream yesterday, so we're recording on the 27th of November. This podcast will be coming out in December. I was streaming yesterday, sorry, and like I was like, do I try and rebrand? Because the thing about Insane Orbits is I've come to the conclusion that I don't think it's very algorithm friendly. Just something about Insane. I think the Insane part just, I don't know. Like InsideMC feels like it's like a second shot of content, right? And it's nice to have, but like I was contemplating, because I can't go down to Orbitzz because Orbitzz with 2 Zs is taken. Orbitzz with 3 Zs I could probably have, but do I really want that? No.
Yeah.
So I was trying to think of other ones, but I just can't think of anything.
Yeah, I always wish I was just a genius when I was like 10 years old or 8 years old, and I just got like the best username on like everything. But no, I just had to choose this long username, Silver Skyclaws. Like, no, why did I do that? That's
but Silverrruns is good though.
Yeah, Silverrruns is fine. It's definitely, it's fine. But like, again, I don't know. I guess I would have liked Silver.
I think everything happens for a reason. That's something I always say is, there's a reason you took the name. I know like it can't be used in every sense, and I don't use it in every sense, but I know like vague ones like this, I just believe like there's a reason that you weren't a genius when you were younger and picked a different name. Because who knows, without the name Silverrruns, would you be where you are, that kind of stuff. So
right, yeah, who knows.
What about the skin inspiration? Because you show your face, and I mean it doesn't look like you per se, but like you can see a bit of it. I don't know how to explain it. Okay, I know it sounds really, really weird, but you can see a bit of yourself in the skin. Is there any like reasoning behind this, or? Yeah,
so the timeline is I originally had a Kakashi skin from Naruto, which my brother made for me. Okay. And that was the skin I rocked for a while, and I liked it overall. And then somebody, when I was playing 1.17 SSG, an artist, Pro is their name, they made me a skin that was like a kind of ram skin combined with like Kakashi, kind of cool, and I really liked it. And then after like using it for probably a year, I was kind of like, you know what, I kind of feel like something new, so I swapped to, and also the ram is like what you see in my profile picture on like my alt
Silverr
YouTube
too,
channel
right.
and my
Yeah.
emotes, just because I haven't, honestly just because I've been like too lazy to switch it. And yeah, I kind of just was like, I kind of feel like something new, so I was just in call in HPG with Xylonox was there, and I'm like, yo. I was talking about skins or something like that, and I don't know if I asked to make me one or something, but basically I had like some ideas of what skin I would kind of want, and he made it for me, and then I kind of messed around with it myself too. I changed like a bit with like the eye color and changed a bit with some stuff, and then I settled on this one, and then I went to multi-MC and did like the color shift thing or something like that, and I just have stayed with that one. So my skin's like a little bit green, but I don't know. I kind of like it.
It looks cool. I don't know. I like the trousers, like the color of the trousers, the cyan color. I've always quite liked the cyan color. Like in general, like so. I think it looks cool. It's like chinos. Do you know what chinos are? I like this isn't me trying to sound silly, but there's like because I know like different things are called different things in different places. So do you know what chinos are or no?
Chinos. I've never heard of that.
I've always kind of just referred to them as like colorful trousers, like trousers, but like red, blue, all that kind of stuff. But in England, they're called chinos. So, but yeah, that's what they remind me of.
Okay, gotcha.
So you've just been too lazy to remove from the RAM. Do you think you'll ever move away from it, or do you think you'll just keep it as your most because that's part of the law now?
I mean, I don't know. Probably eventually. I'm honestly just pretty lazy. But people do like art of me, and the art often has like the RAM kind of like outfit, I guess. Which I don't mind it in general. I guess like if I'm being completely honest, when I originally got it, I was like, oh, this is dope. And then after a while, I was like, oh, it's kind of like too similar to like J-Schlatt, I guess, and that was kind of the reason, part of the reason why I wanted to like switch off of it, because he's got like the same exact horns, and so I'm like, it is part of the reason, but I'm not too worried about it, and I'm fine with like whatever, to be honest.
And that's why I'm glad I at least chose a blindfold, because I've explained my reasoning behind it on multiple podcasts. I'm not going to do it here, but like I'm glad I went with the blindfold because it isn't really too similar to anyone. I mean, my Minecraft skin is full face, but that's because you can't really do a blindfold on Minecraft and make it actually look good.
Right.
You know, I'm happy with that. So
yeah, that's cool.
What about speedrunning then? How did that come to be? Because you know, this is not why you're on the podcast today, but a big thing of the podcast today is that you're really, really good at speedrunning. Like to put it quite, you know, vaguely. You know, so how like what did you start with? What version of Minecraft? Why exactly did you want to get into speedrunning?
Yeah, so at this point it's been like almost 3 years. Originally it was I'm an XUC viewer. I watch him. I enjoy his content and stuff. But he was doing hardcore Minecraft runs is what he called them. He called them hardcore runs. And so this was basically just him going into hardcore mode and trying to beat the game. And it was taking him like an hour, 2 hours, whatever. And I was like, dude, that looks kind of fun. And so I started doing that, and so Minecraft's always been the game that I like came back to. I was pretty like committed to Minecraft for like a few years, and then I stopped for a few years, and then came back for a year or whatever, and then stopped. So that was the game I came back to eventually, and then with that I was like, oh damn, this is dope. And so I just started doing the like hardcore runs, and I did like 2 or 3 of them or whatever on 1.16.2, I think, which is not the correct speedrunning version, by the way. You have to be on 1.16.1 because it has better pearl rates. But that's like very important because I remember specifically starting my runs on the wrong version. But yeah, so I did that, and then after a while,
you don't need to be on the right version.
Not back then. So yeah. Anyway, after a while, I kind of stopped for a little bit, and then got back into it when he started doing actual speedruns too on 1.16.1, and I was like, damn, that looks fun. And I started watching like a ton of Twitch, just like Bennett, just everybody who was live at the time. I was just watching Nerdy, all those people. I was completely just engrossed by the tech that was coming out for the game. Like the K4 was a big driving force in terms of like bringing people together to really push the game farther and make this like speed game better, because everybody's like, dude, like what are these people doing? This could be so much better. And I was just so amazed by that. And so that's like how I really kind of started to get into it. And I started by watching a lot, and I would play some, and I think like I was pretty good initially because I had done PvP games in the past. I'd played UHC, I'd played Skywars. I was pretty into those and I was pretty decent at them. I actually made some Hypixel UHC videos like a while ago, but they're off my channel now.
How comes?
They're just not like, well, honestly, there wasn't particular reason. Well, I guess I just wanted to make my channel look cleaner, I suppose. When I got into speedrunning, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna only put like really videos that I really like on here. I liked those videos at the time, but now they're whatever. I mean, they weren't bad at all. I think they were edited well, and they're just commentaries. I basically was just trying to be like Wisp. I don't know if you know, like, he made like insane Hypixel UHC videos back in the day, and I was like, dude, I want to be like that.
I used to. I'm not saying. I don't say I used to in a sense where I don't watch him anymore, but like I'm not as big of a fan as I used to be. But yeah, I used to be a big Wisp fan.
Yeah.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Where were you on the day of the Feinberg XQC collab?
The Feinberg XQC collab? Are you talking about when the like HVG played with XQC and Tfue?
Yeah, where, like, how much into the community were you at this point?
I was in the community, and I was there. I was watching. People knew of me. I had probably like a 15-minute time, maybe, and I was like 20th on the leaderboard, probably, maybe like 30th. Okay. And I streamed a little bit and I was around, but I wasn't like in HVG, and that was the difference. Is like it was HVG plus XCC and Tfue and whoever else that was there that day. But there was I don't know if you know, like there was the time that we played with them again. We did 10 mans with them, and this time I was there for that. This was like,
I thought they did 10 mans the first time round. No.
Yeah, they did 10 mans the first time around, and then they did it again, and I was there for the second time, yeah.
Oh, with, crap, I didn't know about that.
XQC, Poke, Jesse, and it wasn't just HVG this time either. It was like HVG and like some other speedrunners and stuff too. It was dope.
How was that?
It was like it was really cool to actually, you know what? Yeah, it was really cool being just with them, like sharing like this thing where I'm just like, yeah, I'm like insane at the game right now, and like Dougal had a world record at the time, and they're like, oh my god, it's Dougal, the world record holder and stuff, because he was playing with this as well, and I was just going around kind of like carrying the squad, whatever. It was really fun. I think Poundcake actually has a video on his channel of it. It was a good time. But
Poundy was there as well? No shot.
Yeah, Poundy was there. But I remember it was like so sad. Okay, so my mom pays for really good internet, and I have Ethernet, and I have everything. And I swear my internet never dropped in like 6 months. And for some reason, on that day, that specific day, my internet was just gone. It was just out for like, I did some runs with them, and then boom, it was just gone, and I just couldn't get it back, couldn't get it. And I lost like an hour of trying to get it back, and eventually it was like working again, and I was just like I remember like trying to like use my brother's Ethernet cable, and it was so annoying and stressful because I wanted to, do this like rare thing. And I was getting messed up, yeah, of all days. And I don't even think my internet's dropped a single time after that either, which is the crazy part.
Is this where I say everything happens for a reason again? No, not in this scenario. That's cool, though.
Messed up.
Obviously, like I mentioned earlier, and I keep kind of bigging you up in a sense, and I want to get, like, I do think you're very, very good at speedrunning, so massive props to you for that. And I'm going to keep saying it throughout the podcast just to bigger your ego. Who cares? Mm-hmm. Have you ever held a world record?
Yes, I have held a few world records. I have never held like the big world record. The big world record is like 116 RSG any percent. That is the one that Zalanox has right now at 745. I have never held that one. The closest I got was 5th with my 847 like 10 months ago at this point. But I do have some other world records. Or not currently. Actually, do I currently have some? I have my first ever world record was 1.9 RSG any percent, which is, you can think of it's like the maybe 3rd, 4th most competitive category. There's like 116, there's 3.1. It's sort of weird now because it's split up differently. There's 1.7, there's pre 1.7, and then there's 1.8. Before it was just pre 1.9, it was all encompassed in one. And that was like the original version. That's like like Illumina had world record on, and it's just kind of that was like the big version for like a long time. Was pretty much, well, honestly, because there was only those versions out at the time. But yeah, that and so basically I got into speedrunning. I was doing 116 at first because that's what everybody was doing, and then I got into pre 1.9 because I thought it was fun, and that involves like going up the tower and respawning Enderman, and I got world record with that, with like some new strategies and stuff, and that was the first world record I got, which was pretty cool. That was like definitely the first thing that put me on the map, I guess. People were like, oh damn, this guy got a new world record or something like that.
He's actually decent at the game, jeez.
Yeah, and then after that I went back to 116, and I've been playing 116 ever since, basically. In terms of like other world records, I've held the duos world record, which is just, it's not that competitive, but it's pretty fun, and it's pretty, right now I'm actually doing duos runs with Rainex, and we're like going for world record because our world record got broken. And yeah, I have trios world record as well right now. It's like a 9:30.
Jeez, it's crazy. Like you're fifth with an 8 minute time. Like you look at 8
I'm
minutes.
11th
like,
now with an 8 minute time. Yeah.
Oh, see, that's what I mean. You're looking like 8 minutes is fast, and then you're looking, you're like, wait, that's 11th.
Mm-hmm.
I'm top 2000 with my speedrun time, so I'm also up there with the goats. So
nice.
Not too bad. To be fair, I did like a month of speedrunning, and I picked up really, really quickly, and I threw a sub 20 twice, which was like painful because obviously I was like, I'd been speedrunning for like 3 weeks at this point, so throwing it was normal. But then
yeah, that's tough.
I don't know, something about speedrunning, I love watching it. I think now with the podcast, I'd like to say I've had enough speedrunners on the podcast now to kind of put myself as partial. I know I reach into a bunch of different communities. I'd like to say I'm in the, like, not in it, but I've referenced or done my part in the MCSR community without the speedrunning aspect of things. Because I can't remember who it was I was speaking to on the podcast, but they were saying like you can be part of the MCSR community without actually being a speedrunner. You can be an artist, you can be,
yeah, of course,
like, and I'd like to say I take my part in the podcast, so
For sure.
I love watching it. I mean, like I mentioned, I lurk a lot in like your tournament. I'm a big fan of MCSR Ranked, which is something once again we'll get into talking about. Speaking of, I guess actually for the sake of it, with MCSR Ranked, do you think, right? And it's not like a controversial take, it's just it's a bit of a stretch maybe. Do you think the introduction of that kind of killed the idea of, not killed, but like lessened the idea of RSG? Because like right now you obviously speedrun a lot. The majority of the time you're playing ranked, right? Has it kind of lowered your motivation to constantly just keep requeuing random seeds when you know you can hop on ranked and get like good set seeds?
Yeah, for that it's definitely interesting. I don't think ranked could ever be seen as like a bad thing for MCSR.
Oh no, like I don't want it to be looked at as bad.
So...
That's not why. Sorry, I just want to be clear. That wasn't what I was trying to get at when I mentioned that. By the way,
yeah. It's definitely, so yes, it's harder to play RSG when ranked is there, because ranked is just so, gives your brain so much dopamine. There's so much adrenaline in winning these matches and gaining and losing elam, compared to RSG where it's like you against yourself, and that's pretty much it, and you just have to reset a lot. I mean that's just how it is at the end of the day. But I will say, like, there are very big differences between the two that have different appeals, I suppose. And in my head, for me, like, I've always I think ranked is what pushed me to becoming like a really, really good player. And originally when ranked came out, not right away, but after a little bit, I started grinding it a ton. And the beauty of ranked, I guess, is that you can now and back then, you can really compare yourself to other runners. So if you're playing against Feinberg and you make some decision and then Feinberg makes another decision, then you're like, wait, why do you make that decision? And then boom, it's like, oh, because of this, and it really can it just is a constant cycle of just improvement, and everybody else is getting better too. And so that is like, it pushes you and it really improves you a lot, and it makes you way more consistent, because you have to be more consistent to win ranked matches. So that is, it's been really insane for improvement. And in the back of my head, I've always been like, this is for improvement, for myself to go back to RSG and grind RSG and be better than I ever have, and really have a good shot at getting world record. Because at this point, I feel like there's been multiple times where I've been a world record contender, but at this point I feel pretty confident that if I went back to RSG and really started grinding, and I mean, big thing is figuring out resetting, then I would be in contention for world record. And I'm not currently grinding RSG though. The last few days I've been playing duos with Rain, and I've been really enjoying that. Like it's just really fun, and that's kind of been, I feel like, gradually pushing me back into RSG. I'm hoping to probably grind it a lot more afterwards, because it's, I don't know. At the end of the day, world record is the ultimate goal for me, at least. So that's always been the goal for the last 3 years. And even though I do other stuff, it's still like what I want to go back to always. So yeah.
What's your fastest rank time?
Fastest ranked is 7:37.
What's RSG world record?
7:45.
Oh, so I know obviously it's, but you actually, so you can definitely do it because you have a faster rank time than the RSG time, so you can 100%.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
If you look at it. I suppose. But the thing is, it's also just getting that motivation of, once again, like I mentioned, you are getting into games, you know as soon as you spawn in, there's a guaranteed loot, you know as soon as you enter the nether, there's a guaranteed bastion, all that kind of stuff. Like, you're going to go from that glory to sitting behind an 8-wall screen or whatever, or however many walls you use, and it's like just resetting. Oh, we got a seed, I entered, oh no bastion, reset, and it's like it's that moment. That's what I mean, like ranked is kind of a breath of fresh air, you know, to the case of like you can speedrun and enjoy actually speedrunning. You stream for 2 hours and you speedrun for 2 hours. You don't stream for 2 hours and sit looking at a wall for an hour and 40 minutes. You know?
That is true. I think stream content, it's kind of objectively better in a way. I mean, the thing about RSG is that it's just got insanely high highs, I guess. The feeling of getting on pace after resetting for hours is just insane. It's like, oh my god, like, let's go. Like, what's happening right now? And the feeling of getting on, like, the nerves are also just completely different. I had a run, it was 2 days ago, in duos, and it was the fastest pace I had ever been on. We had ever been on, but like I'd never even, I was like shocked at how fast this run was while I was running. And this is, so I have competed in tons of tournaments at this point. I feel confident in myself that I don't really get insane nerves while I'm playing during tourneys anymore. That kind of isn't like a thing for me. I don't get shaky while I'm doing the run. Maybe before I'll be nervous, but this run, that was the most nervous I had probably ever been in speedrunning, and it was just because the pace was so fast. It was like shocking me at how fast it was, and it really made me realize, like, damn, like, this is such a different skill. No matter how good I am at nerve management during tournaments, it's not comparable at all to pace nerve management. So that's like, it's a whole different feeling, whole different ballgame, whole different mental thing that you have to work on.
I think it might be a bit of a weird way of looking at it, so you can either agree or disagree with me here. But it's also, with ranked, right? If you lose, like, you go next and you're guaranteed a good seed, right? If you lose again, you go next, you're guaranteed a good seed. But when you get, like, for instance, a good run, a good RSG run, you know you're probably not going to get a run like that. But like, say you get like a sub 8, for example, somehow, yeah? You know that the likelihood of you getting that in the next, like, in the next 5 months, give or take, is low, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, the idea of getting a world record, for instance, when you was on really, really fast pace and nerve management, the idea of, oh crap, this could be a world record run, means there's so much more to than like winning a ranked game. So that's what I mean. Like, that's why I agree 100% with what you mean about the high highs. Then it also can have its low lows. You know, for instance, if you're on pace and you throw it, but due to like a silly mistake, or the dragon just doesn't perch, and you're like, crap, why didn't you? Or it insta perches and you miss it. That was like something I had once, and it's just like that can lead to, I assume, low lows as well.
Yeah. So yeah, for the run I was talking about, where I was like shocked at that pace, that run, I choked it. It was a very bad choke because it was something so silly and dumb. I mean, I had a micro choke before, and that kind of led me, but basically for preemptive, that's like the stronghold strategy, to find the portal room, you need to have your settings on very specific settings, and I just forgot to change one of the settings, and it's something I've done preemptive thousands of times, and I just forgot to change one of the settings, so it didn't work, and I didn't notice, and I didn't get the run, and it was just one of those things where it's like, it was so brutal. It was so brutal. I mean, I'm still thinking about it, and it's sort of like, it's definitely one of those low lows, but I find you can't be too attached to your speedruns one-to-one. Like if it's not good for your mental if you get like extremely sad from like losing a run or extremely happy from gaining a run, either way, because it's just Minecraft is just an RNG game. Even any speed game, it's like you're not gonna have the good runs all the time, and it's very easy to snowball. It's like, oh, I messed this up, I'm gonna mess this up, and so you can't like be so connected one-to-one. So I'm really just trying my best to take that as a learning experience, as a realization that pace nerves are completely different, and I really need to work on them. Clearly, because it was always like, dude, it was always this thing in my head. I've just been thinking about, like, if I was ever on insane pace, unimaginably good pace, how would I react? How do people not choke? How did Rentilda get the first sub 10? How did he pull that off? How did he manage that? And like breaking barriers and stuff like that, you know? And honestly, I don't have the answer. I don't know how people do that, and at the end of the day, the only thing that I can do for myself is just get on the pace more, not get discouraged, and hopefully I'll be less nervous next time. Hopefully more things will line up better next time, and I'll be able to get an insane run again.
Yeah, fair enough, honestly. And it's that mentality as well. It's a mentality of, crap, I did bad, but you don't let it affect you. And like you just said there, how you're going to go next and you're going to like learn from it. And that's a crazy mentality, and alongside the idea of keeping your nerves, it's also the case of, I messed up, how do I improve next time? No, this was silly,
and that's good for like pretty much everything in your life that you do. It really is being emotional about something and caring about something is important. You want to have those feelings, but also you want to be able to move on and learn from it and improve from it. It's just like it's a balance.
More so on the speedrunning front, because I want to get into talking about tournaments. But before I do have a question, and I think it's a question you knew that was coming, but I have to ask it. So you're Canadian, yeah? Just to double check.
Yes.
All right. However, your Minecraft is in a completely different language. Do you speak the language that your Minecraft is in?
No, I do not speak it. So the story is, in Minecraft, there is the book, which and in the book it has like all of your crafts. I'm sure people know that. You can also search in this book, and for speedrunning, we've basically looked for the languages that you can search for the items in the book with the least amount of letters. So that's the idea. Originally, a year and a half ago, people were like, oh, this is cool, okay. And then Matthew Boland, he's like a speedrunner science guy, wrote this program. They figured out some stuff, and the language that I and a lot of other people settled on was Bosnian. And so I used Bosnian for a year and a half or so. And then recently,
that was the easiest to to search for like items or like stuff with.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, you okay? Sorry, just keeping up.
No, yeah. So the idea with that one was you type IJ, and those two letters give you respawn anchor, bed, wool, and glowstone. Those 4 items.
Oh my god.
With the least amount of junk items, just like extra items that are around. Which is good, right?
Yeah, very.
But a year and a half later, I'm thinking about it, and I'm talking to like Seven Ral, who's another speedrunner. He's telling me about Ukrainian, and Ukrainian's this like sick language. He's showing me all these insane search graphs that he's like using with Ukrainian, and I'm like, that's cool, but I want like more objectivity. So I went back and I tried to use Matthew Boland's tool that he used, and I just couldn't get it to work at all. It was completely broken, and I was talking about it on stream one day, and then this guy in my chat named Bezdev, he was like, yo, I made a website for you, and he's got this sick website for search crafting that basically you input what searches you want to get, and then it spits out like, oh, this is like the optimal language for you. And so it's very customizable. You can change what crafts based on what importance you find them, and based on like how important you think having like no junk is or whatever. And junk is just like extra items that you wouldn't want to craft with the search. And the final language we landed on, it's not as objective as I thought. There's kind of 3, 4, maybe even 5 languages that people are using, which is I find funny. People are like joking about how next MCSR Ranked tourney everybody's going to be on a different language. The language that I personally landed on is Franconian, or Est Franconian, I think, in English. It's basically this like German language that is super like rare and small, but it's in Minecraft for some reason, and so I've been using it.
And that was the most optimal one that you found? Yeah,
that was the most optimal one. So that it doesn't have like it's different from Bosnian in terms of like it doesn't have the IJ craft to search for beds, anchors, glowstone, and wool, but it's better for like a bunch of other stuff, like for tools and all this stuff. So it's just like a nice time save to have, and it was a fun process, really getting like learning about which languages are optimal and what would be optimal for when and runs and stuff like that. And yeah, so this is the language I landed on, Est Franconian, which is the one I'm using.
Are you the only one who uses it? Or do other people use it as well?
I don't know how many people use it that, like, there might be people that use it that I don't know, but there is, like, one specific person, Rannick, he has, like, worked on languages a lot and kind of helped to convince me, and, I mean, I feel like I was coming to this, we basically came to the same conclusion, and so we've also talked about, like, our layouts and our keyboard layouts and all of that kind of stuff a lot, too, so, yeah.
That's interesting, because when I like, saw it, I was like, oh, I didn't know he spoke another language.
I do not speak another language, no.
I know like some people, I feel like I was a culprit for one. I feel like there was a time that I played I used to play FIFA in Spanish. I used to play yeah, so just because the commentary was better in Spanish. So yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, so like back on like Xbox, me and my mates would like play it, and then I don't really have anything to build on this other than the fact that that's what I did. There's no like strategy behind it. I guess I played better with Spanish commentary as well, technically. So
yeah,
you know, it had its benefits, but
they hyped you up more.
Yeah, exactly. It's just better. And plus, listening to the English commentary when I already speak English, it's like I can just commentate myself, you know. So
right, true.
Okay, fair enough. And then this eventually, or essentially, sorry, I should say, has benefited you in tournaments. Then, right? Because you're the GOAT. Once again, I'm saying it to big you up. This is essentially kind of, you know, turned into helping you with tournaments. I mean, not to say that you would be bad without it, but do you reckon it has a big impact on your tournaments?
Well, honestly, at this current moment, it's a lot to memorize, so it's not perfectly in my muscle memory yet, but it's definitely it's a slow process, but it'll get there eventually, where it's kind of all ironed out, and it'll be really nice, yeah.
How long have you been using this one again for, sorry?
It's been like probably 3 weeks, maybe a month.
That's me thinking it was longer. Oh, yeah, so it's still fairly recent then.
Yeah, overall, yeah.
Right then, Silverrruns, time to talk about tournaments. It was coming, all right. So we'll get out of the way. More of a not negative aspect, but just one that not fully to remember. Let's start by talking about MCSR Ranked, all right.
Yes.
Season 1, you absolutely destroyed. Right, you popped off. You won. You won a good amount of money from it as well, and you know, that's also one of the ways I found out who you were alongside Lavender Island. Also that. However, season 2 is a very sad defeat in the finals. So what was I out drinking? I think I went out drinking with my dad, right? And then as soon as I got home, I'm like, I've had a good few drinks. I come home and I check the MCSR Ranked brackets just to see the outcome. And yeah, sadly you were just a runner. I mean, just a runner up. Like it was a very close. You lost by one round, I believe.
Yeah, it went to game 7.
What happened there? Because obviously I didn't get to watch that one, so this is based like fully on what you tell me here. What happened? Like, was it just they were the better player? Did you mess up at any point?
I would say like Loki is overall the better player, or was at the time. I mean, probably still not, to be honest. Depends. We have different strengths as players, but it was one of those things, for me, after ranked season 1, I don't want to seem like an excuse, but my mindset before ranked season 1 was, I'm going to prep and train so hard for ranked season 1. Every single day I was playing ranked, I was doing runs, I was analyzing my runs, I was watching everything back, and I was comparing myself constantly, and I improved an insane amount from that. And then I won, and like when the tourney rolled around, I won the tourney. And then for this one, it was different because I actually hadn't been doing a ton of speedrunning before the tourney. My first ranked match was during Escape from Lavender Island, so I hadn't been speedrunning at all, and I just came back and I was able to win that one, and then I was kind of just getting back into it in a way, and then that's when this tournament rolled around. And so for me, it was like, damn, like everybody else has improved a lot and I haven't been improving that much. And so I still made it to the finals. I got second, literally couldn't have made it any closer. It was such a close match, but I felt like I just had a lot to improve still, and it made it very clear, like I can't just be too like complacent. Otherwise people are going to catch up, people are going to get better, people are going to improve. And so it's made me kind of, and I always knew that, of course, like it's not like I'm just, I just choose like, okay, now I'm the best player now, whatever. It's not like that. It's like, obviously it's a grind, it's effort, it's practice, it's everything like that. I don't know, it just kind of made it clearer to me that I really need to put in the work, and I need to put in the effort, and I'm enjoying putting in the work and the effort, and that's kind of what I've been doing for the last like little while. I've been joining like some smaller tournaments too here and there, which I've been enjoying and doing well in.
It'd be boring if you always won, right? Like winning MCS, like you already won MCSR Ranked 1, give it to someone else for number 2. Yeah, you know?
I suppose.
Yeah, like you gotta be fair, you don't want to take all the money, you know? All the glory. Yeah, but I mean, to still get that far though, with that considered, is still like, it's still really, really good. So like, huge props to you. But I kind of just wanted to get out of the way season 2, because we're gonna go into more positive notes of looking at like winnings and stuff like that, and like ones that you've won. Backtrack into MCSR Ranked season 1. So you popped off there. You won, unless I'm tripping here, you won quite comfortably, didn't you?
No.
Did you not?
It was the finals was it went to a game 7 as well, like a final match.
Did it?
And it was pretty close, but like it was definitely, I think my matches before that were easier than my matches before that. Like season 2, it was like constant like 3-2s and I don't remember exactly.
2-0, 3-2, 3-1.
I know.
Was season 2.
Yeah, it felt harder to win my earlier bracket matches, but then whenever I played Dougal in the finals, it was like, damn, like this is like, back then it was easier to get to the finals, and then once I was in the finals, it was like still a really hard match. But then this season it was like hard to get to the finals, and then it was hard to win the finals as well, of course, because I lost.
The difference is quite obvious.
Because like Dougal's an insane player. I mean, he got his tourney cut short because he lost to Loki like really early in this tourney.
Yeah.
And Loki's obviously the winner.
Which was quite interesting, because I remember, like, I was talking to Oliver, because I had Oliver on midweek MC, and I was talking to him, and I was like, it's so like strange to see. He was like, yeah, but he did lose to Loki. I was like, yeah, I know he lost to Loki, but it was still weird to see him go out so early. Like, I know he lost to the winner, but that doesn't like take away from it. Like, yeah, seeing it in general, him go out so early was like, what?
And that's like kind of a critique for having no losers bracket in the tourney. It's kind of weird how that kind of stuff can happen, but I don't know, that's how it goes, I suppose.
Yeah, once you're out. There's no way to kind of come. But then it's also like, that's just a normal tournament bracket, right? It's once you're out. Like, it'd be really, really long if there was a losers bracket and then you could bring your way back in. Like, I know other tournaments have it, but I don't know. I quite like the format personally. I mean, that might just be me. What are your opinions on the format of it?
It's nice. I really enjoy that it gets done in 2 weekends. I think that's very, very optimal, and that's important, because when tourneys span over like a long period of time, it's not the best for the tournament, for the enjoyment, for anybody. But I don't think it's the perfect format in terms of the actual players playing the matches, because I just think that if you have a bad day, just being completely out is kind of messed up. Like, maybe you overall are the better player than somebody you lost to, but you just, you weren't there to show up on that single day, and then you're gone, which, it's like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I think there's talks of maybe different formats for the future, but I don't really know too much, to be honest.
We'll see how it goes going forward. It's still early doors as well, like it's relatively new, and like the start off this strong was really, really good. It's just about to see what happens going forward now.
No, the tourneys are great. They're so much fun to watch and play in.
But these aren't the only tourneys that, like, this isn't the only tourney, that you've done well in, or played for that matter. You've played in a bunch of others. So before, like, instead of me asking them, if you don't mention one I'm curious about, I'll ask it. But I'll let you kind of like take the floor here, and if you're happy to, and talk about some of your like personal favorite, not even like personal favorite tournaments, but like personal favorite accomplishments. No, that's not the word. Personal favorite performances. There we are.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can start like back at sort of the beginning of any earnings was for me. Twitch Rivals was constantly having these every like month or two, these Minecraft events, and they still have them, but they're just very, very infrequent. And for this one Minecraft event, they had a qualifier, an open not open, but it was a qualifier that was for smaller creators to have the potential of getting in to the main event. And me and 3 of my friends, we made a squad, and we went to these qualifiers, and we qualified for the main event, then we made it into the main event, and then we won the main event, and then since we won the main event, we got invited back to the next Twitch Rivals, and this was like, I mean, it was just such a surreal experience. It was the first time I had ever really done an event of this magnitude, and it was really, really enjoyable. I mean, at the end of the day, I think I was like tryharding a lot, compared to like maybe the other people in the tournament weren't tryharding as much as me, but it was a massive opportunity for me. And so I would study, I would practice, I would learn, I would do just anything I could, really. And so we were playing these Twitch Rivals, and I'd prep with the teammates, and we'd get ready for each event. And yeah, we did really well, and we won one, we got invited back, we won the next one, we got invited back again, we got second. They were like, the guy who invites people is like, yeah, you guys can come back for sure. And then we won our 4th one, until it kind of was like there weren't as many MC events getting run, but they're like, your team is kind of like too overpowered, unfair, I guess. Yeah. And they wanted to do some more team balancing, and I understand that. I understand it. I think team balancing is good, but it kind of sucked to get basically just kicked out of the event, because I have not played a single Twitch Rivals since then, except for last I had a 2-year break from Twitch Rivals basically, until recently.
And again, there hasn't really been any Twitch Rivals going on anyways. I think I talked to Cloudfuel, if you know who Cloudfuel is. I'm not sure if they're the person who invites people or not when you reference it, but
yeah, they are.
Okay. I talked to them recently, and I could, unless I just completely misinterpreted, they hinted at a return of Twitch Rivals. So who knows, Silverr? Who knows? We might even get teams for one. Oh my god, the dynamic duo, right?
Oh wow.
I'll carry you in Speedrunning. It'd be go crazy. No, in all senses, like hopefully, if there is actually a return of Minecraft, we can see a reappearance from you. I mean, you can always
that'd be sick. Yeah.
I mean, you have like, I'm not sure how open you are about this, or how open you are to do this. Sorry, because personally, I don't. So you have a lot of friends in the space anyways, to the point where if it does happen and it's like an apply thing, or like you can always just like get vouchers or whatever,
Yeah. And I mean, at this point, like in general, my like presence and my stream has grown to the point where maybe I have some influence, some way of like actually getting these tours, and not just through qualifiers at this point, which is it's sick. It's good. I'm happy about it. But yeah, like for this like most recent Twitch Rivals, it was the Dead Safio bingo that was like partnered with Twitch Rivals, and yeah, that was like that one I got into just because I was like, I clicked the button that said I'm interested, which that never could have happened before.
Wait, there's a button to click?
Well, yeah, on the website when it was like, looking for players, and then it was like on the Twitch website, and it was like, you just click I'm interested, and so like I clicked on it, some other people clicked on it, some people got in, some people didn't.
Because I didn't know that existed. I just saw the tweet and replied to it trying to get myself bounced. Actually, I need to be more clued up on this kind of stuff because I have no clue how really any of this works, like the Twitch rivals and stuff like that. I feel like I'd like, because the thing is, I don't really, I
know the process, but
kind of just need somebody like who is also in the scene to kind of DM me. By the way, don't take it as like a hint. By the way, I don't want it to be taken as a hint. I just need like somebody who's clued up with it to kind of like say to me like, oh, by the way, there are signups. I'm like, oh, okay,
right.
Otherwise, I just go completely oblivious to it all, you know.
I'm definitely not one of the people that's in the know for that kind of stuff. I just kind of like, oh, okay, I just click on this link and it's like, okay, I guess I'll just click this button.
Yeah, see, I'm just so oblivious to it all.
It just happened.
That's the issue. Let's talk a little bit more about this one actually. This was it was Spanish, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to speak a bit of Spanish, or did you use Google Translate? Because you won, right? You did really well in the Duos one with somebody who you didn't really have much communication with, if I'm correct. I believe it was also a Twitter question actually, so I'll give credit to the person who asked it. Yeah, so it was from Bandurka. Oh god, I hope I said that right. You did pretty well in a speedrun showdown, even though people suspected you might not do that well. Apparently, because your partner wasn't primarily a speedrunner. How did you? Was this speedrun showdown or is this another tournament?
That's a different event.
Oh, okay, right, okay. We'll hold the Twitter question for a second. Either way, right. You in this event specifically, you did. Oh no, I've closed the tab. This isn't good. Esports Earning, the most reliable website for the podcast. It's absolutely great. You are 4th in the world for earnings. Look at that. Eh? So you came first in the solos, winning 10 grand. Okay. And the Minecraft lockout tournament, that's something different. Oh, the Safio bingo squad, you won 7 grand, but I'm assuming that was split between the squad.
No, that was 28k total.
You won 28k total from that tournament?
No, I won 28k for our squad, and then it was split 7k, so 7k to me.
So you won 17 grand all in all, give or take.
Yes.
That's nearly a year's wages. And you won it for like how long? 3 hours of Minecraft? Just because you're good at the game?
It's like, yeah, something like that.
Why are you so blasé about it?
I mean, it's just like, I don't know what I say. Like, I mean, yeah, like, okay, so this is what happened. There was the Lockout tournament, which is hosted by Smallant. Lockout as a game mode is basically all of the skill in Lockout is game knowledge and PvP too, but a big thing is game knowledge. And the entire, like, the point of the game is to complete a bingo card, literally just a bingo card, and why it's called Lockout is you're locking other people out of that event.
Yeah.
And or that like thing on the bingo card.
Once you grab the item, they can't grab the item, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just items for lockout, but
just an example.
It's all about game knowledge.
Example.
Yeah. And so I was invited to that by Smallant, and once I was invited to that was my sole focus for a month, maybe a month and a half. It was studying, practicing, grinding for this lockout tourney, and I did so much. I learned so much. I mean, originally at the start of that, I was a person who played Minecraft only in 1.16. He told me how to make a spyglass. I would never be able to tell you. If you told me what the correct Y level for mining to find lava, I would in new versions. I don't know. There's no deep slate in 1.16. And so I came from just that to just knowing a stupid amount about this game. I just know every just minute detail, anything that was related to lockout, which it's massive. There's so much stuff I would know about. And so then I got invited to that. I played that. I won that. And then afterwards it was oh, Twitch Rivals bingo event is going on. Okay, I got in that, and I was okay, I guess I just trained a month accidentally for this this new event that I just had no idea that I was going to get into. And since I trained so much and practiced so much, I was in a very, very good position for that tournament. And yeah, I mean, it went well for me. I won. I mean, at the end of the day, there's Minecraft's luck and stuff, but also I put myself in the position to win the tournament, and I did. And so there was the solos, there was the duos, and there was the squads. And for the solos, obviously it's just solo, it's whatever, it's just bingo. And then for the duos, I got teamed with just a random teammate that was fully Spanish. They didn't speak any English really, and for the squads, I got teamed with that duo as well, and then another duo. And all three of them didn't really speak any English. And so the communication was purely through Google Translate. So I would tell them mostly at the beginning of the game, the comms for what we should like do. And so I would like be like, okay, I'm gonna go to the Nether. I'm gonna get all of these goals. You should focus on this and this and this and this. And then that was just kind of how it went. And so I ended up winning the solos. I ended up getting 6th in the duos, I think, which top 5 makes money. Barely missed out on money there. And then I got 1st in the squads as well with my squad. The squad mates were like pretty solid too. They were definitely great help in that event.
Was the communication hard though? Like I know you had Google Translate, but even then, like to do
yeah, it was like so difficult.
This is why you're the guy. Okay, I'll stop bigging you up, otherwise you're gonna walk out of this podcast with like the biggest ego. That's sick though to hear like you do so well, and then like obviously being able to like use Google Translate and stuff. I'm sure not all of it translated perfectly, but it most likely made it out what you were trying to get across, hopefully. I mean clearly, actually I'm saying hopefully. Yeah, and then there's other
you could use like numbers and stuff, because numbers are like the same, so I would like tell them the numbers of the bingo card on the board or whatever that they had to do.
Oh, true.
Yeah, so it kind of worked out.
I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, I had a notes open on my second monitor to like, because I don't know any Spanish. Like I don't like most like people from the US just learn Spanish in high school, but I'm from Canada, so I learned French in high school. I don't know any Spanish.
So we learned Spanish in secondary school, but I don't really. I like hola, mi amo, in St. Orbitz, me estas, muy bien. Like I know a few words. They're like basics, and then obviously I know how to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Other than that, like
right.
I am very English, very English.
Well, I mean, honestly, better than me.
And then you learn French, so I'm sure you can probably know it. Like I know a bit like bonjour, je m'appelle like Orbitzz. Then I'm Charlie. That's my name. Say that as well. But yeah, so yeah, fair enough.
Right. No, I mean, yeah, but like in terms of the communication during that event in Spanish, it's just like it's definitely tough. I just don't know any.
But it made it fun, right?
It made it fun. Wait, I want to show you something. I'm gonna send it on my phone. This in Discord is what I got from winning that tournament, which is so sick.
I'll let you say out loud what I'm looking at right now.
Out of every Twitch Rivals I've ever won, everything that I've ever done, I never got anything like this, but I got a medal, an actual medal. I showed it on my stream before, but like it says Twitch Rivals Champion on it, and it's sick. It's really sick.
But for what, winning solo or winning squads?
I mean, I guess. I don't know if they just like, if they didn't send me 2 because I won solo and squads, and they're like, dude, we're not sending you 2, we're just gonna send you 1. So I don't really know if my other teammates got 1, but maybe it's just for winning solo. I don't really know.
That's sick though. What? So I'm guessing you like, did they ask for your address then? I assume for them to send it, or like?
Yeah.
Like, did you know what you were getting sent? Is what I mean.
Yes, I knew, but it's still like just cool to like. I didn't know this is what I was playing for when I was actually playing the event. Like I didn't realize they were gonna send me, and then they just sent me an email like, we're gonna send you a medal. Like, what's your address? And then I was like, oh, okay.
That's so sick. Yeah, that actually looks so cool. Holy chat! If you chat, oh god, I'm too used to streaming. And the listeners, if you could see this, I mean, I'm sure that you'll be able to find it somewhere one day. I'm sure if you go to Silverrruns streams anyways and ask for him to flex it, he'll probably be more than happy to.
I would gladly flex it.
And then there's Minecraft Showdown as well, our Speedrun Showdown. And I guess I'll ask the question, and then we'll get into talking about what Speedrun Showdown actually is. So you did pretty well, even though you had a partner who wasn't primarily a speedrunner. How did you do that well? And they did mention that there's no disrespect to Cub. It's just the way they worded it. But I mean, I think that was a pretty valid question. So obviously, Cub isn't a speedrunner. Cub fan 135 we're talking about, yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. No. As far as I'm aware, they're not really a speedrunner. So what is
Cub has done some speedrunning. It's okay. So yeah, Speedrun Showdown is 2v2 speedrunning, like to beat the dragon, basically. Whichever team can kill the dragon wins is the idea. And so for the event, Nerdy's like the main kind of host guy, I guess. He was trying to put together as balanced teams as possible for instance, he put Feinberg and Ant Venom together, and Ant Venom like isn't into competitive Minecraft really at all. It hasn't speedrun really at all either. And then he put like me and Cub together, and I mean honestly, like I think I had a pretty decent team. I don't really know like what like this question, like we did fine, but it was definitely a disappointing outcome for me personally. Did
you not win?
No.
Oh, I assumed because of the question that you guys won.
No, Feinberg won that. Feinberg and Ant Venom won.
Oh, okay.
It was we didn't get last or tied last or whatever, but we won our like first match, and then I think we lost our second match or something like that. But it was definitely a new kind of experience for me, and obviously it's just a lot about like communication and having like stuff like that, and just being very adaptable, because for this event specifically, it was like the meta was shifted very quickly and Feinberg was the one who basically harnessed the meta shift, which was like, instead of playing very conservative, you basically just like, oh, get iron armor, go to the nether, fight the other team in the nether, or try to find your own bastion or whatever. It was that in the speedrun showdown seeds, there was always 2 bastions, and because of that, what Feinberg started to do was he would go to the first bastion, loot the entire thing, gets pearls traded out, and he would also just try and enter the nether as fast as possible, which is kind of an RNG point, but he was really good at finding the enters. And so enter nether, loot the whole bastion, trade it out, then go to the second bastion, loot the whole bastion, trade it out, and then he would beat the game. And at that point, it's extremely difficult for the other team to come back to that. And so it was kind of like he adapted in that way, and I adapted in the wrong way, in terms of like I was just not. He didn't beat me, by the way. I lost to Rain and Small Ant. It was like, I remember a very specific moment in my match where I was like, all right, I could try to beat the game right now, or I could go to the other bastion and loot the bastion. And then my choice was to beat the game, and they were able to come back, and they ended up killing us, and they won the match. And so it was like, if I just had made the other decision, I feel like we could have done a lot better. But then again, like, it was just so weird. Like, the matches that we lost, it's such an interesting meta and game, and it's really fun too. And obviously, like, teaming with Cub was just really cool too. I mean, I watched Cub fan for like a while, in terms of like, I mean, I used to watch him like a lot more when I was younger, and it was just cool.
What is Speedrun Showdown? Sorry, I'm a little bit out of the loop with this one.
It's just like 4 players, 2 duos on the same world, speedrunning to beat the dragon. Whoever kills the dragon wins, basically.
Oh, so when you said, oh, I can just beat the game here, they beat the game before you?
They ended up, no, they didn't beat the game. Well, they did beat the game before us, but the idea, it was like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go speedrun the game before they can catch up. But because I gave them the opportunity to catch up, because I left the bastion, they did end up catching up to us, and then they killed us, and then they killed the dragon afterwards. So
got you. Okay. Oh, so like, had you gone to the other bastion and taken your time a little bit, they wouldn't have the likelihood of them catching up.
Likely, it would have been a lot harder for them. Yeah. So like, the meta shifted like very, very hard, and Feinberg really grasped that meta shift, and obviously along with him just like being really good at PvP and stuff, and obviously still there was a fruit berries purple team that everybody was like, okay, that team just wins the entire event, and they put up a really strong fight. I mean, it was a really, really close match. Feinberg has a video on it too. It's like a really good video about his speedrun showdown win, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's definitely just, it taught me a lot about tourneys though. I think that was like a big thing about it, is that I did learn a lot from it, and I enjoyed it. And teaming with like Cub was just, it was dope. I mean, Cub's really cool. He's a really cool dude.
Fair enough. Yeah, there's first in Dead Safio Bingo Solos, first in Minecraft Lockout Tournament, first in Dead Safio Bingo Squads, first in Twitch Rivals Cube Clash, first in Twitch Rivals Minecraft Minigames, second in Twitch Rivals Minecraft Best on the Block, first in Twitch Rivals Block Brawlers NA, first in MCSR Ranked Playoff Seasons 1, first in SWRC Any Percent Tournament 2 and 3, first in HBG First GNG RSG Invitational. What's that?
Yeah, that's a BTRL event hosted by Speckner, and that was like just an event we did where it was like kind of teamed. It was teams BTRL, so it was like the
Mine
average
originates
between the
Silverr,
four
was that
fastest.
Oh, yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
go
it was
my
like
bad.
the average between us four and then the average between them four, and so we won that. And then also on top of that, I think I got like a plus 100 bonus because I had
Yeah, you did.
the fastest time.
And Molly G got it for GNG.
Yes.
Man, they need to do more of those. RSG Invitational. Like this is what I was saying to Oliver for Ranked, right? Something I really would think would be so cool is if they introduce the idea of clans, or like, you know, so there'd be like, so you could form a team with like 4 people, and then, you know, like, I don't know, Feinberg could form, so it could be like, I'm just gonna say names of who's been on the podcast, right? So we got like you, Fine, Fulham, Fruit, and then there's like, I don't know, like H-Bomb, Pizza Hut, Foundy, and somebody else, you know. I'm just saying any names that are coming to mind right now, right? And then like, say there's like 8 clans in a season and they're all actually like serious, that could turn into something much bigger. Like, do you know how there's like FaZe Clan and all that kind of stuff, and they have these like big tournaments and stuff? I don't know, something like that I think would be cool. A bit like this, a bit like how you did the RSG HBG Invitational. I feel like more of those could be so sick.
I really enjoyed that event. I think Spectre did a really good job. I think it was just it was a cool event. It was fun to play in, and it was formatted very well because the team format with BTRLs is really cool, I think.
That was this year as well, so.
Yeah, it was early this year. It was a while ago at this point, but
still this year nonetheless. Yep, again. Any other tournaments that you'd like to talk about? Or?
I mean, I guess I could talk about this tournament that I'm in right now. I just had my match today. Yesterday actually. It was it's called ESI. Have you heard of it?
Oh yeah, I feel like someone's commentated it. I don't know. I think I was watching the commentary. I think it showed up on my suggested, so I was watching it for a little bit. Yeah, yes. I don't really know what it's about. I know it's speedrunning, of course, Minecraft speedrunning, but that's about it.
Yeah. So ESI they're on their 3rd iteration now, which is they had ESI 1, 2, 3. It's basically just a scout and route tournament, which the idea is you get 40 minutes, and then they give you a seed, and they give you some seed like notes kind of thing, and then they tell you, okay, try to find the fastest route on this seed. So it starts in the scouting phase, which you're like, okay, there's like a temple here, there's like a village here, which one is faster for me to go to? Okay, let me go to the temple, let me find the enter, let me find all this stuff. So you're basically just like making your own SSG route as best as you can on that seed, and then after you're finished scouting, you have whatever time is left of that 40 minutes to start your running. And it's not as linear as that. You can go back to scouting and stuff whenever you want, but the idea is just like you try to complete that seed now in the time that you spent like scouting it. Which it's been a tourney idea in MCSR for a while, but this is definitely the biggest and the probably the best tourney that executed this scout and route format. And there's critiques of it, but I think it's really, really fun to play in overall. So yeah,
the general idea right now is good.
Yeah, I think it's really fun to play in for sure.
There you go. Fair enough. That's sick to hear. It's just crazy how just being good at the game can benefit you so much, and that's why sometimes I wish I was quite good. But I don't know. I found confident in the podcast. I'm hoping that I can do something with the podcast. I mean, it feels like I am. You know, I get to talk to someone really cool, someone really different every single week.
Yeah, that's dope for sure.
You know, I'm kind of content with where I am right now. I do have a question before we move on. And it's something I was meant to ask earlier, I just never got around to asking it. What are your thoughts on speedrun calculators? I don't really have anything to build on that. I just have the question, and then I just want to hear your answer.
Yeah, so this was a hot topic.
I know.
For a long time.
Feinberg about it. That's why I thought I'd bring it up.
Yeah, so like for me personally, calculators were always this thing I was against in general in speedrunning. Originally there was Ninja Brain's original calculator, which I was one of the first people to use and try out, and I was like, oh, this is dope, I get to go to the stronghold. But over time I kind of realized it got banned. The calculator got banned. Over time I kind of realized that it makes more sense for the game to not have calculators, because it just kind of removes skill point in the run. I mean, trying triangulation in itself is just one of those skills that you can it's just a skill, and I think it's definitely like it's important, but for whatever reason, I mean, the reason is that people made workarounds to the calculator ban rule, and then the mods were like, well, what do we do about these workarounds? And they couldn't find a very clean solution to the workarounds, and so the conclusion was to unban calculators. And from there, calculators kind of spiraled, and Ninja Brain made an insane calculator, and then it spiraled even more with like Bowtie and stuff. And so now you can just get into the stronghold 90% of the time with one singular eye. And honestly, at this point though, I've just accepted it. Like, whatever, it's not going to change, and even despite my efforts of trying to change it for a long time, it's not going to change. Nobody wants to ban calculators anymore at this point, really, and so that's that. I mean, it's not like it's particularly, like, you can never know what a specific change is gonna do for the game in general. So for when I'm thinking about rules and things like that, I like to think about how it will affect the general community as a whole. I try not to look at it very one-to-one as like, oh, this will improve my speedrun time. Like, it's not about that for me at all. It's bigger than that. And so calculators are like, I lost my train of thought. They're just not as... They basically just remove a skill, and they're not...
It takes away from the, like, game sense aspect, because there's no longer figuring out what a stronghold is when you can kind of just give it to you.
Yeah, but at this point, they're so... Oh, yeah, right. That's what I was trying to say is, I try to look at the community as a whole, because... But you can never predict what the future is gonna... How the future is gonna be, and how everything is gonna be, so I can never know, really, if unbanning calculators was good or bad for the game. But at this point, it's happened, and that's just, like, kind of how it goes. And, even though I disagree with them, I'm just, at this point, living with it, and overall, it's not like it was a detriment to the game. It maybe was blown a bit out of proportion about how it was basically just a skill shifted. I think, like, it's not that it removes skill overall, it's that it removed a skill, like a specific, and because skill just, it's not like it made the game easier, it just made the game where you have to be better at different aspects of the game. Like, getting to second portal is, like, really, really important now, and understanding that, and terrain and pearls and all of that is really important, and it probably wouldn't have been as important. And also, I mean, end games are a lot more frequent now, which is maybe good, maybe bad. Who really knows? Or like end games are a lot more consistent, I should say. So yeah, it's not like I can really predict if it was a good or bad thing for the game, but people wanted it, not me, but those people who were not me got their way, and then it was in the game, and now it's just how it goes, I guess. I mean, I'm using it now, and I've been using it for over a year now.
I guess for the sake of it, looking back on Ranked again, referring back to Ranked again, is like, if calculators was banned, would that make it being like, would it be cheating in Ranked to use a calculator? How would they figure out if someone's using a calculator? Would calculators be unbanned for Ranked? Would they then eventually get unbanned for RSG because people are so used to using them in Ranked? Blah blah blah, that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't really ever predict it, but I mean, I would assume they would just be banned in Ranked. If they were never allowed in RSG in the first place, there would never have been this kind of development, and I'm not against the idea of just saying something is not allowed, even if it isn't that enforceable. I mean, for calculators nowadays, you have to F3C, and so there's a ranked mode that just removes F3C, so you can't really use the calculator anymore. And F3C specifically adds a lot of, like, accuracy as well, so yeah, it would make the calculators a lot worse if you weren't even able to use F3C. So I don't know, it's like, there is enforcement, I guess, for ranked, if they were never banned. But yeah, again, you can't predict the future, you can't predict how it's going to go, but I don't know.
Before I get into the Twitter questions, then, Silverr, do you have anything else that I haven't brought up that you feel like that you thought I was going to mention, or you feel like it would be cool for the podcast?
Honestly, I can't think of anything in particular now.
Okay, alright then. So, some Twitter questions then. What we'll ask a few. I normally have these wrote down. All right, the first one comes from Ragenex. Oh god, I pronounced this really wrong, ain't I? Ragenex? No, you're gonna have to say it for me. Please save me here.
Raynex?
Raynex, I'm so sorry. This got 40 likes, this question, by the way. All right.
Yes.
Does it jiggle?
Dude, I feel like I'm so surprised you asked me that. Dude, okay, I was in call with Rain. I was talking to him. He's like, oh, you're going on a podcast? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna ask, does it jiggle? And I was like, bro, don't say that. And then he just tweeted it. And I'm like, okay, well, there's no way he brings it up on the podcast, but here we are.
Of course I will. Like, any like, I have this like thing, right? Is Rainix is followed by you, and I know you guys are friends. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I just feel like the question's fine to ask. If a random person asked it, I'm not going to ask it. There's Rainix, and you guys are friends. So why not? You know, why not bring it? It's funny as well. It makes for like that funny little story that you gave there. So it jiggles for Rain. I was going straight in the highlight, by the way, like this the intro part, like the like first minute of clips. All you're gonna hear is you go, it jiggles for Rain. That's crazy. Another one comes from Super Lucky, and it's, what was the hardest speedrun related thing to learn when you were starting to speedrun Minecraft?
Yeah. Okay. So for this one, it's definitely like the hardest things for me is like the abstract concepts. So for things like bastions, zero cycle, anything like that, that's just mechanical. It's like, okay, I just need to learn the mechanics of how to do it. I just need to remember how to do it. I have to go to this y height, I have to go to these coordinates, and I have to build up, and I have to time it with this accuracy. But the abstract things are a million times more difficult. The things where it's like game sense, decision making, terrain nav. Terrain nav's a big one for me. It was like, do I go up here? Do I go left? Do I go right? Which way do I go? Like, do I speed bridge? Do I whatever? Like, it's definitely the decision making aspect of the game, which was the hardest part to learn, and the consistency of the decision making as well. That is like being able to make the correct decision on any seed is just, I mean, you're every single time you're like seeing a nether for the first time ever in your entire life, and you're supposed to basically figure out like the fastest way that you can possibly route that nether. And so it's like that kind of decision making it's by far the hardest part of the game to learn. But using ranked, it makes it easier to learn. It's a lot about like studying and thinking about the game in general. You need to come up with like your own kind of values and ideas, understanding like what is faster when, and so yeah, that definitely is the hardest thing to learn, or was the hardest thing to learn, and still is, honestly. It's like the big thing that I'm improving at still to this day.
And then final one comes from Ale Gulcher. I hope I said that right. I'm so sorry if I didn't. Who do you think is the most likely to beat Xylinox's 1.16 world record? Is there anyone you know right now who's grinding towards beating it? You can say yourself, by the way, if you'd like.
The truth is that there's not a ton of grinders right now. There are a few people who have potential and people who could beat it. The main names are probably Meeby, Griffin, Dugile, Rain, when he gets back to grinding, which I'm pretty sure he said he would. And who else was I thinking about? There's something else that I was thinking about, but I can't remember it anymore. It's the thing about world record is it's like so difficult to predict. Like,
what about Loki?
I don't think Loki really does RSG runs ever at all.
Oh, okay, mine then.
Loki does almost exclusively ranked. I mean, for myself personally, I want to get back into runs, but I'm not like I wouldn't consider myself like a grinder right now. No fear was the other one that I was thinking about. No fear has a good chance to get it as well. And yeah, I don't know, definitely weird. I guess the person that I would like want to get it the most is Rain, just because like he's a really close friend of mine, but that doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that's it for the Twitter questions then. There was like a few others, but I don't like to ask too many. You know, I like to ask just like that makes 4 this podcast, because the Do It Jiggle one was a very serious question. So you know, it had to be asked. It had to be asked. for my sake as well. With that being said, then I think that it brings the end of the podcast. You've also now broken the record for. You've now set history with the first HBG member to not have a long. I mean, it's still a long podcast, but just not as long as their ones. So.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I speedrun it.
Speedrun, exactly. I had a question I was saving for the end of the podcast. Maybe it was the calculator one. I don't know. It's gonna really bug me now because I haven't asked it, and I was like, I'll wait. But it might pop up. Who knows? But for now, Silverrruns, if you'd like to promote yourself, where can people find you? What are your @s on all social medias? If you've got any big things planned, all that kind of jazz.
Yeah. So my socials are just Silverrruns with 3 R's. It's for like Twitch and YouTube and stuff. I don't have any particularly big plans currently, but I stream a lot, and I sometimes upload some videos now and then. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
There we go. And then any hints towards anything for 2024, or are you just taking it as it goes?
Definitely taking it as it goes. I want to get more into YouTube. I think YouTube is super fun, so I want to see what I can do with that.
Maybe take it full time next year. How long have you got left of your studies?
I've got like a year. And I don't know. We'll see.
Just take it as it goes.
Yeah.
It's gonna really bug me now that I can't think of the question, but it wasn't meant to be, hey. It wasn't meant to be asked. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on as a guest, Silver. You've been amazing. It's been so cool to talk to you. Because normally when I have people on the podcast, I don't really have someone who consistently does well in tournaments. So it's quite cool to speak to you, on that kind of basis. And who knows, hopefully we'll see you playing more. We teamed me, you, Fine Poundy. That was fun. And maybe one day we might see a Block Wars appearance. Who knows? MCC one day.
That'd be insane. Yeah, that would be insane.
This wasn't a question that I was thinking of, but it just popped into my mind. So your MCC Rising application was so cool. However, when I watched it at the time, I didn't realize until yesterday when I was watching back on it that was you. That was such a good Rising application. I actually, your team I wanted in, but sadly you didn't get in.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I was just really excited for that. If we got in, it would have been amazing. I just I don't know. It's okay.
It would have been a busted team though.
Yeah, maybe. Probably. I mean, we would have won, but
I guess we'll never know now though.
Yeah.
With that being said, this has been InsideMC. I may be the only man ever who can make Silverrruns consistently talk for nearly 2 hours. 2 hours recording wise at least. I mean, when it's cut down, it might cut down to about an hour and a half, an hour and 20. This is also going to be really hard to edit because we're recording audio separately, so it's just going to be long. Because normally it's all just on my recording, right? I don't record split audio, I just record it all in once. It's so easy to edit, whereas now I have to edit 2 different audio tracks. So that's going to be fun.
Right.
But yeah, thank you, Silver, once again for the final time. You've been amazing. And thank you, everyone who listened.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. This has been InsideMC, talking to the amazing Silverrruns, or Silver for short. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe. Don't eat too much bread. Pieces.